Daf Yomi, Menachos, Tractate Menachos, page 33, the bottom of 32b for context. Rabbi Yehuda says that Shmuel says it is a mitzvah to place the mezuzah within the airspace of the entrance, not on the outside. The Gemara asks, isn't this obvious? After all, the merciful one states, and upon your gates, which indicates that it must be within the area of the gate rather than the outside. The Gemara explains that it might enter your mind to say that since Rava says it is a mitzvah to place the mezuzah. Now we're on 33. A, top of the page, with the words betefach. Betefach is malicious rabim, comma, in the handbreadth adjacent to the public domain. Perhaps the further the mezuzah is from the inside of the house, the better, and one may affix it even fully outside the airspace of the entrance. To counter this, Shmuel teaches us that the mezuzah must be within the airspace of the entrance itself. Okay. ושני סיפין פסולה. הבשר אחד כשרו, אויל שני סיפין כמה. And Rabbi Yehuda says that Shmuel says if one wrote a mezuzah on two sheets is unfit. The Gemara raises objection from a brayso that states if one wrote a mezuzah on two sheets and placed it on the two doorposts of the entrance, it is unfit. The Gemara states the objection. By inference, if the mezuzah was affixed on one doorpost, it is fit, despite the fact that. Hold on here. Despite the fact that, okay. Despite the fact that. Where was I? Despite the fact that it's written on two sheets, the Gemara answers, the right is not referring to the case where one affixes is on two doorposts. Rather, the right is saying that if it was written on two sheets in such a manner that it is fit to be affixed on two doorposts, meaning there's a space between the writing of the first and the second passages so that one can separate the two sheets. From different doorposts, it is unfit. This is in accordance with the statement of Rabbi Yehuda citing Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel b'mezuzah. Hare chachal heker tzir, my heker tzir, amar Adam, avakta hechidam mikagon pitcha de veitre, bate bein Beit Gabriel Bein Asher. And Rabbi Yehuda says that Shmuel says the halacha is that a mezuzah must be affixed to the doorpost on its right side, and the right side is determined by the direction from which enters the room with regard to mezuzah. When deciding which side is the right side, one should follow the indication of the hinge. The Gemara asks, what is the indication of the hinge? Rav Ada said, the socket into which the hinge is inserted. The room with the socket is considered the inside room, and the mezuzah is affixed to the side which is on one's right side when entering that room. The Gemara asks, what are the circumstances, meaning what kind of case was this guideline to follow the indication of the hinge necessary? The Gemara answers, this indication is necessary in a case where there is an entrance that is between the two houses, between a room for men and a room for women. As is such in such a situation, the direction of the entrance is unclear. Reish Galusa ben Avesa Amar Le Rav Nachman Kavali Mezuzata Amar Rav Nachman Tili Dashe Bresha. The Gemara relates the exilarch, the Reish Galuta. The exilarch built a new house. He said to Rav Nachman, affix mezuzot for me in the house. Rav Nachman said, first erect the doors so that I can affix the mezuzot in the proper places according to the placement of the hinges. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Rav Asa Kamin Neger Pesula Eini Beha Ki Asa Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef Amar Kulo Mezuzata Debei Rabbi Kamin Neger Havo Abidan Beha Vehi Pischa Be Rabbi Be Midrasha La Havela Mezuzah Lo Kashya David se Kesikta Davida Ke Istavira. Rabbi Yehuda says, the Rav says, if one fashion it was like a bolt, meaning he wedged it into a hole in the doorpost of a gate, or affixed it to a doorpost horizontally, it is unfit. The Gemara raises a difficulty. If that is so, is that so? But when Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef came from Eretz Yisrael to Babylonia, he said all the mezuzot in the house of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi were fashioned like a bolt. And he also said that the entrance by which Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi entered the study hall did not have a mezuzah. The Gemara answers this is not difficult. This ruling that it is unfit is referring to a case where it is prepared like a peg, meaning he inserted it deep into the doorpost while it was lying horizontally. That ruling that is fit is referring to a case where it is prepared like an ankle, meaning it is vertical. Is an ankle vertical? I guess it is. Must be, right? Okay. Eini. Is that so? Yehoshua Pisgodavi Ayal Bar Midrasha. Havali Mezuzah Hahud Ragil Haba. Yom Rabbi Yehuda Marav Mezuzah Halech Achar Ragil. With regard to the second element of Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef's statement that the entrance by which Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi entered the study hall did not have a mezuzah. The Gemara asks, is that so? But what of the entrance by which Rabbi Yehuda would enter the study hall, which had a mezuzah? The Gemara answers, that entrance was the one through which all were accustomed to enter the study hall. By contrast, the entrance that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi used was a side entrance, which was designated for him alone. Consequently, it was exempt from the obligation to affix a mezuzah. As Rabbi Yehuda says, the Rav says, with regard to mezuzah, follow the entrance that people are accustomed to using. Amar Rabbi Zeira, Amar Rav Masna Mashmuel, Mitzvah lanicha b'tchilat shlish elyon, v'Rav Huna Omar magbiya ben הקרקע טפח. ומרחיק מן הכויר טפח. כל הפסח כולו kosher mezuzah. Rabbi Zera says that Rav Matna says, that Shmuel says, it is a mitzvah to place the mezuzah at the beginning of the upper third of the doorpost. And Rav Huna says one raises the mezuzah in handbreadth from the ground, or one distances it from the cross beam, meaning the lintel, a handbreadth, and the entire entrance between those handbreadths is fit for the placement of the mezuzah. Meisvei magbiya bin hakarka tefach umarchik bin hakoire tefach v'chol hapesach kulo kosher mezuzah divrei Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Yossi Omer kshatim uksavtim ma kshira begova av ksiva begova. The Gemara raises an objection from a Braita. One raises the mezuzah a handbreadth from the ground, or one distances it from the crossbeam a handbreadth, and the entire entrance between those two handbreadths is fit for the placement of the mezuzah. This is the statement of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi says the verse states, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your arm. Deuteronomy 6:8. And then it says that you shall write them upon the doorposts of your house. Deuteronomy 6:9. Just as the binding of the phylacteries is performed on the upper part of the arm, so too the writing, meaning the placement of the mezuzah, must be specifically on the upper part of the entrance. Bishlam Rav Huna Damar Hud Amar Krav Yehuda Eshmod Amar Keman Lo Krav Yehuda Velo Krav Yossi. The Gemara explains the objection. Granted, according to Rav Huna, he states his ruling in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. But according to Shmuel, in accordance with whose opinion does he state his ruling? It is not in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, and it is not in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. Amar. Okay. Amar Rav Huna b'rei Rav Nasin le'oilam ke'Rabbi Yossi. Turning to 33b. Umay techila shlish elyon deka omar le'harchika shlo harchika min koyre shilman Yossi mishlish. Okay. Rav Huna, the son of Rav Natan, said actually Shmuel's ruling is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. Now it's on 33b on the top. And what is the meaning of the phrase, the beginning of the upper third of the entrance? As Shmuel says, this is referring to the maximum distancing of the mezuzah from the door frame, that one should not distance it from the upper cross being more than 1/3 of the height of the entrance. Stop here. This is 33a. And we're stopping now on the top of 33b.